Hey there, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at how visual content can literally transform a struggling online storefront into this highly engaging, irresistible experience. We're drawing directly from some fantastic source material by Lemon Web Solutions, and they break down the exact mechanics of visual e-commerce. Basically, how to bridge that massive gap between someone just casually browsing around and someone actually hitting the buy button.
Now, I want you to think about your own online shopping habits for a second. You know the feeling, right? Because it happens way more often than businesses like to admit. You land on a page, you scroll a bit, and then you just bounce. No clicks, no hesitation, just gone.
And the source material points out a pretty harsh truth about this. The problem usually isn't the product itself, it's the experience. Today's online shoppers expect way more than basic text listings. We want to see, feel, and practically experience a product before we hand over our hard-earned cash. A plain static page, it just doesn't cut it anymore. High-quality visual content is exactly what bridges that gap between a cold, flat screen and the tangible, physical world.
So, here's the playbook we're walking through today. First, we'll tackle the empty cart problem. Then, we'll look at why visual content wins psychologically. After that, we'll unpack the visual content toolkit, talk about executing the perfect strategy, and finally, wrap up with a look at the future of e-commerce.
All right, starting with part 1, the empty cart problem. Think of this as the invisible leak in your e-commerce store.
If your product page doesn't grab someone's attention in literal seconds, you've already lost the sale. Why? Because our attention spans are just so short these days. This is where visuals come in as a real game changer. They communicate instantly. There's no reading required, no heavy thinking involved, just immediate, intuitive understanding. Plus, let's be honest, people don't really buy based on specs alone anymore. We buy based on how something makes us feel. Visuals keep users engaged longer, and crucially, they build those emotional connections.
Moving right along to Section 2, Why Visual Content Wins. We're going to look at the psychology of visuals here. The source material perfectly illustrates the difference between these two approaches. Imagine a plain, static image of a coffee machine sitting next to a bulleted list of features. It's fine, but it's just cold data. Now compare that to a short video showing the coffee actually brewing, the steam gently rising, and someone genuinely enjoying that first morning sip. See the difference? Reading a spec sheet informs you, sure, but watching a product in motion creates a completely different, deeply emotional experience.
Now, static images definitely still have their place, but product videos bring something extraordinary to the table. They are these dynamic visual assets that add movement, context, and storytelling right to a product page. They show how a product works, how it fits into everyday life, and how it actually feels to use. It's basically the digital equivalent of a try-before-you-buy experience. Think about a pair of running shoes. A photo is nice, but a video of someone actually running in them, bending them, wearing them outside, that gives the buyer real, tangible confidence.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? It creates a very clear conversion path. Step 1. A video reduces uncertainty by giving the shopper a much clearer understanding of the item. Step 2, that clearer understanding naturally leads to stronger trust. And Step 3, stronger trust leads directly to higher conversions. It's a remarkably straightforward pipeline. Oh, and here's a fantastic little bonus happening behind the scenes. When users stick around on your page longer to watch these videos, you're quietly signaling to search engines that your content is valuable, which naturally boosts your SEO.
Which brings us to Section 3, the Visual Content Toolkit. Let's look at the actual formats that drive conversions.
What's really fascinating here is that not all visuals are created equal, you know? They actually serve entirely different psychological needs. For example, product demonstration videos show real usage with zero fluff. Then you have 360-degree views, which add this incredible sense of control and realism for the shopper. And don't forget user-generated content. That builds trust faster than any marketing copy ever could. Finally, lifestyle imagery helps users imagine owning the product in their actual day-to-day lives. The absolute best strategies don't just pick one of these. They combine all these formats to actively drive those purchasing decisions.
Okay, Section 4, Executing the Perfect Strategy. Let's talk about applying these tools without accidentally ruining the user experience.
Adding videos is one thing, but where you place them matters just as much. You need strategic placement. Put them at the top of the page to lock in those strong first impressions. Mix them inside product galleries for visual variety, and you absolutely want them near that Add to Cart button to reinforce the decision. Your overarching goal should be incredibly simple here. Just place your visuals exactly where the purchasing decisions are happening.
Now, 30,
to 60. Keep that number in mind. That is the ideal length in seconds for your product videos. You have got to start with a strong opening and get straight to the point, because long-winded content, it's just going to lose the buyer's attention instantly. Keep it focused and keep it punchy.
And while you're keeping it short, you still need to tell a story. Use this simple 3-step storytelling formula. Highlight a problem, introduce your product as the solution, and show the result. Instead of just coldly showcasing an item, build a narrative around it. Why? Because people remember stories way more than they're ever going to remember a bulleted list of features.
But a quick word of warning, you have to be super careful to avoid some common mistakes that can completely wreck your store's performance. For instance, overloading pages with massive, heavy videos that slow down your site speeds, that's a huge mistake. Using visuals that just don't match the product's message, that creates massive confusion. And perhaps the biggest trap, ignoring mobile optimization. Remember, most of us are browsing on our phones. If your videos lag, or if they don't have subtitles for people watching on mute, you are quite literally losing customers. Oh, and never ever forget to include clear calls to action.
Of course, as the saying goes, you can't improve what you don't measure. To see what's actually working, you need to dive into the metrics. Track your conversion rate, your average time on page, your bounce rate, and specific video engagement stats. You really have to understand exactly how users are interacting with your content so you can keep refining things and plug up any remaining leaks in that sales funnel.
Finally, bringing us to Section 5, the future of e-commerce. Let's take a quick look at what's next on the horizon.
Because this landscape is evolving incredibly fast. Right now, the baseline is mobile-optimized product videos. But next, we're looking at augmented reality for virtual try-ons. Pretty soon, we'll see the widespread adoption of live shopping showcases and AI-generated personalized visuals. And looking slightly further into the future, we're talking about fully shoppable videos with seamless purchasing flows baked right in. The whole industry is moving away from passive viewing straight into real-time, highly personalized interaction.
So I want to leave you with this fantastic thought straight from our source material. Sometimes, a well-crafted video can achieve what pages of text simply cannot. E-commerce really isn't just about selling products anymore. It's about creating an experience that feels tangible through a screen. Visual content bridges that gap by building trust and completely eliminating doubt. So if your online store is feeling a bit flat right now, I have to ask, are you going to spend your time tweaking text descriptions, or are you ready to completely revolutionize your visuals?